Before we even start, let me tell you something. This isn't just a story. This is my life. What you're about to hear is every terrifying, unexplainable encounter I had in America's oldest city. If you're into chilling true stories that will make you question everything, then you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for terrible stories, because trust me, you won't want to miss a single moment of this or what comes next. The Seed of Doubt. My new old living room is sparse. High ceilings, peeling paint, a faint smell of salt and mildew. Sunlight streams weakly through grimy windows. I unpack a box of books, carefully placing them on a rickety shelf. This is it, St. Augustine. My new start. No more. That. I run the hand over a dusty old map of Florida, unfurling it carefully. The lines of the oldest city are intricate, a spider web of history. That's why I came here. To get lost in the past, to escape my own. My phone, lying on a stack of books, buzzes. It's my mom. I swipe it to silent without looking. Not yet. Not ready to explain this new quiet life, this pursuit of the truly old. I walk to the large bay window, looking out onto a narrow, cobblestone street. Bougainvillea spills over an old stucco wall. It's picturesque, serene, a world away from everything. A faint scrape comes from the floorboards directly above me. I freeze, listening, old house settling. Of course, just the house. I pick up a historical society pamphlet. St. Augustine, 4 Centuries of Mystery. A small laugh escapes me. Mystery is precisely what I'm after, the kind you solve with documents, not other things. I turn back to the boxes, my gaze lingering on a shadowy corner of the room. The air feels heavy. Suddenly, a framed photograph on a shelf, one of my own framed photos of a lighthouse, slides a few inches to the left. Just a slight, almost imperceptible shift. I stare at it. I could have sworn I placed it flush against the other books. I walk over, gently push it back into place. My fingers brush the old wood of the shelf. It's smooth, cool, no vibrations. Wind? No open windows. Earthquake? Not a tremor, just an old house doing old house things. Right? I try to shake off the uneasy feeling, forcing a smile. This is it, Elijah. Fresh start. No more overthinking. I pull out a worn, leather-bound journal from another box. This is my new research journal. My escape. You know that feeling when you first move into a new place? That odd sense of unfamiliarity. Everything just a little bit off? For most people, it fades. For me, in St. Augustine, it was just the beginning. Stick around. Because what started as a few weird quirks soon became undeniable, chilling proof that I wasn't alone in this old house. I'm eating a solitary dinner of leftover pizza, my laptop open beside me. I'm deep into an online forum about St. Augustine's lesser-known history, tales of the yellow fever epidemic of 1821, pirate skirmishes that never made it to official records, the unspoken tragedies. I scroll past a comment. Anyone else ever feel watched near the old city gates at night? Another reply. My grandmother used to say a sick ghost walks those streets, still looking for a doctor who never came. I scoff, shaking my head. Superstition. A sudden sharp pounding sound comes from the second floor. Not a scrape. A distinct, heavy, rhythmic pound. Thump, thump, thump. My heart thuds in my chest. I set down the pizza, the sound of my own chewing suddenly deafening. I listen, my breath held. The sound stops. Just as suddenly as it began, I pick up my phone, turn on the flashlight, and slowly, deliberately, head for the stairs. The old wood groans under my weight. This is it. The moment in the horror movie where the idiot protagonist goes to investigate. But I had to. It wasn't just a sound. It was purposeful. I reach the top of the stairs. It's a narrow hallway with 3 doors. My bedroom, a guest room, and a small linen closet. The pounding came from the guest room. I put my hand on the doorknob. It's freezing. I hesitate. What if it's an animal? Or an intruder? I push the door open. The room is empty. The window is closed and locked. My own reflection stares back at me from the dusty glass, looking pale. But here's the thing. On the floor, in a perfect straight line from the door to the center of the room, is a series of small, muddy footprints. There's no mud on my shoes. The window is sealed. The terror I felt was real, but the proof was so small, so subtle, I almost missed it. You've got to watch the details, because that's where the horror truly begins. What you just saw was only the first sign. You won't believe what else I found. Unveiling the past. The air is thick with the scent of old books and age. I'm in my element, surrounded by centuries of documented life, death, and everything in between. My temporary job here gives me access to things the tourists never see. I'm poring over parish records from the 1820s, specifically those from the yellow fever outbreak. I'm on the hunt for the sick ghost from the Forum. It's a way to explain the footprints, to ground the supernatural in the historical. I'm looking for a name. I find a list of fever victims scribbled in a shaky hand. A name catches my eye. Maria Isabella Lorenzo, age 12. Underneath it, a small note. Found near the gates, lost to the fever. Another note, in the margin, reads, Father, Captain Lorenzo, inconsolable, lost to the sea shortly after. A cold shiver runs down my spine. The ghost from the Forum. A sick ghost looking for a doctor. A young girl lost. I turn the page. The next entry is disturbing. It describes a makeshift burial ground near the old city walls, specifically mentioning the small burial plot of the unfortunate Captain Lorenzo, who was a respected man, and his daughter, buried together to soothe the spirits of the town. Suddenly, the lights flicker. The hum of the AC stops. The room is dead silent. Then, a faint, high-pitched whisper, like the rustle of dry leaves, seems to come from the very air around me. It's too faint to make out words. I stand up, my chair scraping loudly. The librarian, a few rows over, looks up, startled. Power's a bit flaky today, dear, she says, her voice echoing in the silence. But she didn't hear the whisper, or she pretends not to. The moment you hear something no one else hears, that's when your blood runs cold. I was starting to realize that the history I was so obsessed with wasn't just on paper. It was alive, or undead. I'd found a name, Maria, and a connection. And in the archives, where I felt the safest, something was making its presence known. You need to see what happened when I went looking for Maria's grave. It's far worse than anything a book can tell you. I'm back home, a printout of the burial records on my coffee table. I'm exhausted, but my mind is racing. Maria Isabella Lorenzo, the small, muddy footprints, the whispers, it's all connected. I start to outline my theory in my journal. Maria was found near the gates. My house is just a few blocks away. Her father was a captain. Maybe he didn't die at sea. Maybe he came back for her, a tormented spirit unable to rest. My mind is putting it all together, and the more I do, the more terrified I get. A sudden, sharp crack comes from the kitchen. I jump. I slowly get up, peering into the doorway. The kitchen is dark. I turn on my phone flashlight. A glass, one of my own, lies shattered on the floor. It was in the sink, clean. It wasn't an accident. It was thrown. With force, I turn on the kitchen light, my hands shaking. I'm not just observing this history. I'm a part of it. The spirits aren't just here. They are reacting to me. I've disturbed something. I look at the broken glass, a jagged shard catching the light. I realize, with a sick lurch, that I've been so focused on the little girl, Maria, that I completely forgot about her father. The raging captain. The one whose spirit was soothed by being buried with her. The one who lost everything. That was the first time I felt true, bone-deep fear. Not the chill of a whisper, but the heat of a tangible threat. The ghost of a child is one thing, but a ghost with the rage of a broken man. That's a whole new level of terror. I'd gone from an observer to a target. And what happens next, well, you'll see. It's going to be the most terrifying night of my life. And it all started with a mistake I made in a dusty library. The confrontation. The house is cold. The air conditioner is off, but a frigid draft sweeps through the house, carrying the smell of salt and decay. I'm huddled in my bed, fully dressed, a baseball bat next to me. Pathetic, I know. You can't hit a ghost. But it makes me feel better. The floorboards in the hallway are creaking. The slow, deliberate cadence of heavy footsteps. I hold my breath, my heart hammering against my ribs. Thump, creak, thump, creak. The steps stop right outside my door. A deep, guttural growl echoes through the door, a sound of pure anguish and rage. Not a human growl, but something primal, something from the depths of the sea. The doorknob to my room slowly turns. I sit up, clutching the bat. The door begins to open, a hair's breadth at a time, revealing only blackness. The air in the room drops to an unnatural temperature. I can see my own breath. A voice, low and raspy, tears through the silence, not with words, but with a single tormented cry. "My child!" I scream, a short, sharp cry of pure terror, and lunge forward, pushing my full weight against the door, slamming it shut. The force on the other side is immense. The door rattles violently in its frame. I stumble back, hyperventilating. It's him, the captain. He's here for me. My eyes fall to a small wooden crucifix I bought at a souvenir shop. Just a trinket. I grab it and hold it out, pointing it at the door. I know it's crazy, but what else do I have? The crucifix starts to glow faintly, then violently, a bright blue light that illuminates the whole room. The rattling on the door stops. The growl turns to a wail of pain. I can hear the sounds of something in agony, shuffling away. The history I'd uncovered, the stories. They were all screaming for me to hear them. My fear turned into something else, a frantic need to understand. That crucifix, a simple wooden cross from a gift shop. What power did it hold? Was it the belief? Or something more? I knew I had to go to the source. The graves. The one place where I might find the truth. I needed to see for myself what was buried there. I was going to the old city gates. I was going to find their grave. And I knew the captain was waiting for me. Don't go anywhere. The descent into truth, the sky is a bruised purple and orange. The moon is a thin crescent. The area is eerily quiet. I'm standing at the base of the old city gates, the giant stone sentinels that once protected the town. I'm armed only with my flashlight and a desperate need for answers. I've been researching on the fly, using my phone, looking for the burial site. It's supposed to be somewhere in a small, unmarked plot near the old walls. I find a section of the wall where the ground is uneven, overgrown with weeds. I shine my flashlight on a weathered, half-buried stone. The inscription is almost illegible, but I can make out a faded L. I start to dig with my hands, clawing at the dirt, heedless of the scrapes on my knuckles. I'm not just looking for a bone. I'm looking for a truth. I'm looking for an explanation. A sudden, sharp pain shoots through my arm. I pull back my hand. A large, rusty hook is buried in the soil, attached to a chain. It's old, corroded, but unmistakable. A ship's hook. A low, mournful moaning starts, coming from all directions at once. The air was The air grows thick with the smell of salt and blood. I look up. A ghostly figure stands in the shadow of the gates. It's the captain. He's not a raging monster anymore. He's gaunt, dripping with water, his eyes hollowed out, his expression one of a father in endless despair. He lifts a spectral hand, pointing a trembling finger at me, then at the hook. He opens his mouth, and a sound like waves crashing against rocks comes out. He wasn't mad at me. He was trying to show me something. He was trying to tell me his story, the one they never wrote down. He didn't die at sea. He was killed here, right where I was standing, trying to find his daughter. I remember a historical detail I'd overlooked, a small-scale pirate raid that took place in the same year as the yellow fever outbreak. A captain from a merchant vessel was killed trying to protect his family and his cargo. His daughter was lost in the chaos. The history books lie, or they just don't tell the whole story. What I found was a truth far more terrifying and tragic than a simple haunting. The captain and his daughter weren't just ghosts. They were a warning about what happens when you lose your history. But the most horrifying thing wasn't the captain. It was what he was protecting me from. It was the whisper that still haunts this town. The whispers of the fever, and the girl who carried it. Stay tuned to find out the true story of Maria. The resolution. The sky is a bruised purple and orange. The ghosts are gone. I'm sitting on the ground, filthy and exhausted, clutching the rusty hook. I understand now. The captain was buried here, not with his daughter, but with a hook in his chest. A pirate's work. The city covered it up, didn't want to admit to a pirate raid. They lied. They gave him a fake burial at sea. His spirit couldn't rest. He was tied to this place. But his daughter, Maria, she was a victim of the fever. Her spirit isn't a child looking for a doctor. She's a vessel, a ghost of the plague itself. I think back to the whispers in the archives. I think back to the cold. It wasn't just Maria. It was the essence of the sickness, tied to her spirit. The captain wasn't trying to scare me. He was trying to keep me away from his daughter's spirit, which wasn't a girl at all anymore, but a contagion of pure spiritual malice. My phone rings. It's my mom. I answer it this time. I didn't tell her everything. I just told her I was okay, that I'd found what I was looking for, a purpose. I walk away from the gates, leaving the hook and the tragic story where they belong. My own personal ghosts feel lighter. I came here to lose myself, to run away from something I couldn't understand. But I found something else. I found a truth, and I found a new purpose. I'm packing my things, not to leave as Saint Augustine, but to move. To a modern apartment, far away from the old walls and the whispers. My journal is open to a new page. The title reads, Forgotten Histories of Saint Augustine, The Untold Truth. I look at my laptop, at my YouTube channel, a ghost of an idea. A new video series. Not about the paranormal, but about the real, horrifying history that's been left out. The stories that scream to be told. I'm still here in St. Augustine. The city still hums with history. But now, when I walk past the gates, I don't feel watched. I don't feel haunted. I feel like I'm a keeper of their stories. The spirits are still here. I know that now. But they aren't here to scare me. They are here because they need someone to listen. And I'm finally ready to listen. And that's the end of my story. For now, what happened here in St. Augustine changed me forever. I'm not the same person who moved into that old, haunted house. But the story of the captain and his daughter, and the other spirits of this town, is just one of many. If you want to hear more of the terrifying history that I'm uncovering for my channel, Terrible Stories, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because history isn't just in books, it's all around us. And sometimes it screams. See you next time.